I, M34, finally yelled at my wife, F34. Is she genuinely scared I will hit her? My wife yells all the time. It's annoying. It will be over the smallest things. This is what happened yesterday. An hour before this, I had the door open. She yelled to close the door. So I did. About 2 minutes before this conversation, I opened the door back up. She comes downstairs and goes, "Didn't I tell you to close the fucking door?" Then started yelling about nonsense. Usually, I just let her talk. But today, I finally yelled back. Did I have to stoop down to her level? No. But after a constant pattern of this, there's a time where it just gets to be too much, and I just wanted her to see how it felt. To be constantly yelled at in your own home by simply living. She stayed silent. When I was giving her breakfast, she flinched. I asked if it was too hot, and she had said it was because she didn't know if I would hit her. So I, someone who has never put my hands on her like that, asked why she would ever think that, and she said it's because she was a side to me yesterday that terrified her. We talked, and tried to reach an understanding. Fail. Now she just keeps flinching. I walk towards her. She flinches. Makes me feel incredibly horrible. Is this a fib? Or did I actually scare her? It really seems like she's abusing you and you caught her out. So she switched to the victim role. Yelling isn't just annoying. It's also a toxic behavior from someone who never learned to control their emotions. She doesn't get to yell at her spouse like that. You stood up for yourself and she couldn't take it. So now she's trying to guilt you back into letting her yell at you. She might have been startled since you never yell back. But I doubt she's actually scared of you. It sounds like it's just a manipulation tactic she is using in order to gain back any power and control she feels she's losing now that yelling isn't as useful as it previously was. Usually, all she needs to do to garner power and control over you is yell at you to make you feel scared and small. But now that being a loud bully isn't working, she is switching to the victim mode in order to make you feel like the bad guy. It doesn't sound like she flinched or got scared when you started yelling. So flinching while you serve her breakfast, even though you've never hit her, sounds like a good way to get you to feel bad for yelling so she can dodge responsibility for all the previous yelling she did at you. Dear God, she is manipulative. Wow, she sounds abusive. No, she doesn't actually think that, I'm sure. She is just trying to make you feel guilty for yelling back. To come at this from a totally different angle. Does it even really matter if she does or not? The relationship has broken down to the point where this level of toxicity flourishes. When she gives you answers, she's not able to communicate further and solve the issue. And you can't trust her to not lie. She's not willing to work on the base problems. She's gotten into toxic habits. And, well, what you're asking is a how to save the relationship question. I don't think there's much else but charred wreckage here. Debating a kitchen remodel when the house is nothing but ash and cinders is a bit pointless, ain't it? A therapist will help you sort out whatever toxicity the relationship has left you with. Whoever was the one bringing that in the relationship doesn't really matter when everyone can pick up bad habits. That's your pit stop in either case of, I'm abusive, she's abusive, we're both fucked up. Or, we weren't abusive but we both had some other mental block on being able to have a relationship. That is healthy. I don't need to know which of those is true to recommend you have a therapist help you out of it. Same thing for looking at your relationship and going, welp, shit's fucked. I really think she's just trying to guilt trip you. But I have to ask, how did she react in the moment? Did she flinch then? Or do anything else to give you the impression she was actually afraid of you? My husband and I don't usually yell at each other. But it has happened. And I can tell you that him yelling in a heated moment, especially if I'm the one that started the yelling, never made me fearful that he would hit me. I don't understand that leap in logic, unless she grew up in an abusive household, watching that play out with her parents or something. She is deliberately trying to make you feel horrible because she is trying to manipulate you. Don't fall for that and just ignore her. Don't respond to her at all if she's yelling. Tell her you will only interact when she speaks to you in a respectful, calm tone. As a woman who's been through a lot with men, this is ridiculous. I flinch, but I'll flinch if I'm unexpectedly roughly touched in extremely specific places. That's it. Handing her a plate? Nah. She's doing this to manipulate you. You should look up the signs of emotional abuse and Darvo to see if it resonates with you. She's emotionally manipulating you in an attempt to make you feel guilty. LMAO. So years of her screaming, you should be fine. But the one time you scream, you're an abusive monster? Yeah. Seems like she is very good at playing the woe is me role. Don't let her. You are not a monster. You are not abusive. You are not wrong for screaming back at her after years of putting up with it. Just no. I wanna add, if she is so scared of you, tell her, I think I should stay at a hotel or we should get a divorce. Cuss, you don't deserve to feel scared of me, and see what she says, does then. She wants you to feel like crap because you stood up to her. Tell her to knock it off because she does worse to you on a weekly basis. LMAO, she lost her power cause you yelled back. Now she's trying to gaslight you and make you the bad guy. She is acting like the victim because you stood up for yourself. Don't feel guilty. You are being gaslit, my guy. https www.banyantherapy.com/darvo/. Check this link. Should help explain exactly what just happened. No adult is gonna change their entire perception of another person just because they yelled at them once. She is deliberately pretending to flinch to make you feel bad for having boundaries. It's extremely toxic. If you weren't married, I would say break up with her. BC, I can't imagine myself living with a manipulative, toxic person like that for the rest of my life. But since you're married and there's more commitment involved, explain to her that you know what she's doing and how toxic she's being. Be ready to get all kinds of toxic responses that will try to convince you that you're in the wrong. Stuff like, oh wow, so you think I'm lying? Do you not trust me? Why don't you take my feelings seriously? You're a horrible person. Edit. If she doesn't acknowledge her toxic behavior and actually puts in effort to change, then do not hesitate to divorce. You do not want to live with a person like that. It's a manipulation tactic. She wanted to be the one in charge and bully you. But when that stopped working, she resorted to being the victim in order to put you back in your place. Don't fall for it. Don't apologize. She is the instigator. She sounds manipulative, abusive, and toxic. Mate, move on to getting a divorce. If I was you, you deserve more than that, my dude. You matched her energy. Maybe you should start flinching too. But man, I'm sorry you're living like this. Someone else said ignore her when she yells at you. I think that's a good idea. Unless you've left out something crazy, she's manipulating you. I'm sorry, op. A very productive convo or an exit are your best options here. You yell once and she's now traumatized and afraid? Gimme a break. She's playing the victim now. WTF is this flinching nonsense? She sounds manipulative. And it got this bad because you allowed it to. Never entertain toxic behavior. Nip it in the bud as soon as you notice it. You need to have a talk with her or consider couples therapy to curb such manipulative behavior, victim mentality as early as possible.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.